So getting set for the opening kick. Keon Lassane back to receive for NC State. Under head coach Dave Dorn in his 7th year. Look out for some trick plays tonight because he loves those. He loves to mess with the defense. Matthew McKay is starting quarterback. One of 3 McKay brothers enrolled at NC State. 2 play on the team. His brother Timothy is a true freshman linebacker. The other already has his degree in engineering.
They're looking for bigger plays out of this passing game. He's been fairly efficient, but explosive plays have kind of been missing in this offense, and looking for more of that out of McKay.
Number 3, Emeka Emezi, is his favorite wide receiver. Jordan Houston is the lone setback with him. And he'll try to bounce out to the right. Got free of a tackler close to the 30-yard line. Taken down by Amari Gaynor eventually. But a 5-yard pickup. NC State has won the last 2 meetings with FSU. Last year 47-28. That was in Raleigh. So 2nd down and 5 for the Wolfpack. And a handoff again to the young running back. Houston trying to wriggle free. Taken down by Taylor as he'll gain 3 yards.
You look at Houston. He's one of 3 backs that NC State feels like they have that are good quality running backs. Houston, probably the guy with the most speed. They want to get on the perimeter. Interesting to see him starting his football game.
Yeah, using him early on the first 2 carries. 3rd down and 2. He'll run it again, spinning free, and now takes a hit. He's driven back across the 30-yard line. That time the Seminoles were ready for him. And it was Gaynor and Warner with the double team. And so here comes the punting unit. So he was denied. DJ Matthews, he can be very dangerous back there inside his 20-yard line. Trenton Gill, former walk-on, who won the job in the fall. He's averaging about 47 yards a punt. Let that one bounce and continue to roll as he scoops it up and scampers out. So Florida State to take over the football here. Hornibrook right there wearing number 12. Blackman suffered what was reported to be a sprained MCL. And Blackman without a helmet on. So it's going to be Hornibrook.
And it's a surprise. It's not what the coaches had told us. And then pregame, we saw James Blackman running around the field. He looked fairly healthy, but you look at the numbers for Hornibrook. 15 of 20. He was outstanding a week ago. And the crowd responding to him in the lineup.
Well, he was terrific coming off the bench after Blackman was injured last weekend. He's going to throw it, the left-hander, incomplete at the 20-yard line. That one caught by Terry. And a pickup of 9.
It's a good start for Hornibrook. You see him here. Let's go over this ball and gets drilled in the pocket, but the ball right to the face mask of Terry. That's what you want out of your quarterback.
Akers with the handoff, finding a little bit of room. He'll pick up the first before he's tripped up by Moorhead. Akers, the ACC's leading rusher. He's getting about 125 yards per game. They want to get him at least 25 catches or touches. He's trying to bounce here. But knocked down on his 2nd carry.
You know, Akers, you said 25 touches. That's what they want to get him. They feel he's their best offensive player. He's a guy that just falls forward. And if you're going to run this up-tempo offense, it's important to be productive in the running game.
Incomplete by Hornibrook. Intended for Akers. Terry out there on the sideline.
You know, they go up tempo with this offense. Just a miscommunication there with Terry. He stops on the route. Hornibrook throws a go. Part of what happens when you're playing a new quarterback.
Quick hitter here to McKinney, the tight end. Eventually stopped by Devon Graves, but a pickup of 8 brings up 4th down and 2. So a stop here for the Wolfpack. And Tommy Martin into punt. NC State playing their first conference game of 2019 in the ACC's Atlantic Division. And a high long punt. Thomas will take it. Thomas needing a block, taken down right at the 20. Just getting started. No score in Tallahassee. Primetime football. Nice of you to join us. Wolfpack trying to win for the 4th time in the early going. Fumble, but they got that one back. Person, the running back, pounced on it.
Really a fortunate break here. It is a fumble snap. NC State is in an unbalanced formation. Looked like something might be up with a little RPO action. Mishandles the snap. Fortunate it bounces up to Person.
They pick up 2. Into the flat. That one completed to Hines, and eventually Taylor got to him, and got to him very quickly. So they lose 2 on that tip.
And it's Taylor's 3rd tackle of the night already. Looks like he came to play. You know, these throws out to the perimeter, they're basically extensions of the run game. Try to get the defensive line to run, try to wear them out. But if guys on the perimeter, like your corners and your safeties, will tackle, such a huge advantage to your defense.
From the 20-yard line, big call right away here. 3rd and 10 for NC State. And McKay from the gun. He fires a wobbly pass and incomplete. Trying to find Thomas. He was covered well by Asante Samuel.
Florida State did what we expect them to do on 3rd down. 3rd and long play, a lot of man-to-man coverage. They brought a blitz, fair amount of contact, but no call, and pretty good start for this Florida State defense. We've talked about, you know, how many snaps they play each and every week. You know, 2 quick 3 and outs for them.
So Matthews back for the punt, and he's going to take it at the 31 and drag down at the 40. And so Alex Hornibrook, who had a really solid career at Wisconsin, left-handed quarterback, made a lot of starts. 26-6 as a starter. And in the Orange Bowl, he was named the most valuable player.
You said it. He really had a great career at Wisconsin, and obviously he's looking for a change of scenery. Ends up here at Florida State, because I think some people question the fit in this offense based on what we saw him do at Wisconsin. But so far, when he's played for Florida State, he's been outstanding. Gets another opportunity tonight.
Akers finds a gap and upended out close to the 50-yard line, stopped by Jarius Woodhead. And a gain of 7. Akers, a guy they like to throw to as well. Flag down. And we're talking about how good Hornibrook has been when given the opportunity.
Illegal formation offense. 5 players in the backfield, 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You know, he was going to play in that game last week regardless, and he did get in early. Played a lot more with the injury, of course, to James Blackman than anticipated. In fact, made his mother, Dawn, tear up watching from the stands. She was so proud of him. She said that was a special moment, a big moment, and he came through with flying colors. Back to throw again. Steps up in the pocket. Got that one free. It's Terry across the 50. Chris Ingram with the tackle after 7.
It's good poise in the pocket by Hornibrook as he's looking to his left. Doesn't like it. Hits the underneath route to Terry, who's coming right into his line of vision. And I just think there's a calm to his game. We talked about his experience at Wisconsin. He already seems comfortable in this FSU offense.
Well, a whistle here with 9:06 to go in the first. Florida State at 2-2, 1-1 in the ACC. This is the ACC opener for the Wolfpack.
Rolling on the field as the runner is down before the line of gain, third down. The clock will start on my signal.
So it'll be 3rd and 1.
And just that's a big deal when you're in a tempo offense, because you want to, surprise the defense with something. Now, you get a defensive play call in if you're NC State because of the stoppage in play.
They want to go fast. FSU is actually last in the country in time of possession. Of course, Akers will get it. And up to the 45 as he picks up the first down. And they're going to get it and go. Akers again to the left side trying to move that pile. Stopped by Murchison. Now Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator for Florida State, very happy with the scoring. Early in games, they have been almost unstoppable. That one dumped to Akers, finding room to the outside. Got free of one tackle. He picks up 8. Only Alabama and Texas have more plays of plus 10 yards coming into this Saturday.
And you just look at the way how quickly the play is coming in. We're just inside 30 seconds on the play clock, and everybody's set, ready to snap the football.
On the screen, Harrison. And keep on moving it. They pick up the first down. FSU has had plenty of late game issues, but not in the first quarter, where they've scored 56 points, tops in the ACC, number 4 in the country. Play action, man coming, got it loose and complete. Outstanding play, tough catch. That's Keith Gavin to haul it in for 11.
Somewhat fortunate here. He doesn't see the corner pressure. And I don't know that I would advise making throws like that, but he obviously gets away with that one to Gavin.
Another quick hitter, and they're making a living on those here early on. That's McKinney, the tight end.
I mean, this is just crazy. He's getting wrapped up just as he's throwing kind of across his body as he's going down. Fortunate, because there's no way he could see the front side of that play. But sometimes you're just lucky, Dave.
Yes. Sometimes it's better to be lucky. Akers stopped. Brings up 3rd and 5. Fast and furious, the Seminoles on offense. 3rd and 5 and a man down here for the Wolfpack. And we'll be back in just a moment.
The Network Primetime Football is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, Florida State driving it. 10th play of the drive forthcoming. Looks like they have an improved crowd here from last weekend. No question about that.
Oh, it's a great turnout for this crowd, and great response to Alex Hornibrook when he came out in the starting lineup.
Murchison looks like he's okay, the injured Wolfpack player. Akers getting a lot of work running and receiving on this drive. Hornibrook trying to keep it, trying to spin across the 20-yard line. Stopped by Peyton Wilson. So 4th down, what do they do?
Looks like they're sending on the kicking unit, and I think it's probably the right decision. You're a team that has started fast all season long. You're in the red zone. Go ahead, take some points. Even though Hornibrook has some experience, it is his first start here at Florida State.
Ricky Aguayo, who missed 3 field goals against Louisville last week. This would be from 37 yards to get FSU on the scoreboard here in the first quarter. And that one is up, and it is good. FSU strikes first here tonight in Tallahassee.
The Huddle
that leads the ACC. Now, earlier this week, Willie Taggart was talking about he wanted to see fans here in this stadium here tonight. So he was actually pleading, doing quite a bit of that. He was very thankful about the fans who did show up last weekend.
Yeah, and last weekend it wasn't a great turnout. They do pull out a win, and it seems like on family weekend, an excellent turnout by this group.
Let's give you a look at that Monday press conference.
They're a well-coached team. They're a good football team, and they're coming to Doak Campbell where we want them, and we got a great opportunity, a great challenge for us here at home. Hopefully we see everyone there because they make a difference, especially in Doak Campbell. And I appreciate everyone that was there on Saturday. I hope everyone that was there on Saturday be there this Saturday, then call some of their friends and tell them to come with them. We'll appreciate that.
Call some of their friends. Well, I think they did.
I think you're exactly right. We've been making some noise as well.
So McKay trying to answer. And on the screen, it's Hines as he dives ahead to the 30. That'll bring up second down, pick up a 5 yards. Hines, the grad transfer from Wake Forest. And after the defense for FSU allowed over 1,000 total yards over a couple of weeks, FSU hired Jim Leavitt, who was Willie Taggart's defensive coordinator at Oregon, to help work with the defense. And they like how that progress is going. A drop pass. Houston couldn't handle it. And incomplete.
You know, when you look at Matthew McKay and throws like that, you can see what NC State wants to do. They want to throw the ball out to the perimeter to make this defensive line, this big defensive line for Florida State, run sideline to sideline, want to wear them out. But it only works if you give an accurate throw to the perimeter player.
3rd and 5 for the Wolfpack. McKay back to throw. Had some time. Airborne and a tough catch. Mezzi, his favorite receiver, to haul that in before Samuel and Fagan got to him.
And this is great offense all the way around. McKay does a good job of staying in the pocket. He gets hit after he throws. And Mezzi, I really like his game. He's a big, strong receiver. Goes up and attacks the football. Doesn't wait for it to come down to him.
Incomplete here. Previously 17 yards on the game.
That throw right there, that's the stuff that Matthew McKay needs to get out of his game. That's just a long foul ball. You know, we talked to him, and he said, look, I need to give my guys a chance to make a play on the football. I think it's something they believe in here, especially with a guy like Mezzi. But you're throwing it out of bounds, and no one has a chance for it.
We were also told by Des Kitchings that one of the things they want to put in more of is explosive plays, you know, big hitters, those 20 to 30-yard gainers. Van Knight with a stop. Jackson there. 4.5 minutes to go in the first. And 3rd and 9 for the Wolfpack. Now the crowd really coming to life here tonight at Doak Campbell. Making a lot of noise on these 3rd downs. McKay right overs the center, nearly intercepted. Intended for Devin Carter. And in and off the hands of Akeem Dent.
And you look at they bring a pressure, Florida State does, but he's got an opportunity to get this first down. The ball's just high and behind on Carter. You know, it seems like Matthew McKay, and I think it's the case for the entire NC State team, talking to Coach Dorn, is that, you know, this is a young group, and you play on the road, and we mentioned the crowd noise, Dave, just to kind of settle down, somebody to kind of relax the group a little bit and make a play.
So Gill has to punt again. High but not deep, and a fair catch by Matthews. Florida State with the ball back, up by 3. Is sacked down around the 5-yard line by Isaiah Moore, and Murchison, who was injured earlier, quickly back in it, and a loss of 8. Kalen Labor now in as a running back for Florida State, and trying to run it as he tried to cut back to the right, stopped by Peyton Wilson, who read that perfectly. Got 3 of them back, but still 3rd down and 13. Hornibrook trying to move. It's loose. A fumble. And let's see who has it. They will keep it.
You see Hornibrook as he's climbing in the pocket here. He ends up getting, somewhat loose with the football. He's taking his right hand off the ball. He's kind of climbing his way into pressure. You see Isaiah Moore right there. They're fortunate they're able to fall on this one, obviously, when you look at the field position.
So FSU will have to punt from their end zone on 4th and 12. Got rid of it quickly. And good field position coming up here for NC State. So look at that, marking it at the 30. Wednesday mornings on ACC Network. Packer and Durham exclusively talking ACC sports. From football to field hockey, Packer and Durham will cover it all every Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. here on ACCN and also on the ESPN app.
I know that's appointment listening for you for my weekly hit, 9:30 on Wednesday.
9:30 Wednesday. Appointment listening. That's when Tim Hasselbeck makes his highly regarded appearance. Bailey Hockman is in at quarterback, and McKay is out as they start this drive to the 30. So the backup is in. He will hand off to Bam Knight. And a tough drive on the right side. Hockman, the backup quarterback, transferred to NC State from FSU, where he redshirted in 2017. But in last year's spring game, he threw for over 200 yards.
Yeah, and he played early last week against Ball State. Ended up throwing an interception on a tipped pass, but I thought by and large he played fairly well in that football game. A little surprising to see him, but also Matthew McKay missed a couple opportunities early.
And not moving the team. They hand off for Bam Knight again. He takes a hit and stopped by the Knowles. He was shut down by Emmett Rice, the linebacker, for a loss of 3.
This Florida State defense has come ready to play. You see Robinson, he's playing basically the entire game now with the injury to Kando, who was hurt versus Virginia. But it seems like as they've gotten thinner on this defensive line, they continue to play harder.
3rd and 7. FSU flying on defense. Knowles up 3-0 with about a minute to play here in the first quarter in Tallahassee. And now an official whistle.
30-second timeout, NC State.
And a 30-second timeout by NC State and Dave Doran. Let's toss it down to Larisha.
Well, guys, you were talking about FSU's defense. When we spoke to the defensive coordinator, Harlan Barrett, he told me that one of the messages to his team was don't miss your moment. Their margin of error is slim to none, and he wants to make sure that every guy gets an opportunity so they can't miss their moment. He said during the preseason and also into camp that he emphasized finding the top 22. He wanted to ensure that as many guys, meaning the top 22, were able to take on this task because they know the tempo of their offense. They know that they need to run, and they know that they need guys in rotation.
Now 59 seconds to go here in the first with FSU up 3-0. Now, one thing that FSU has done a very good job of the last couple of weeks is starting to clean up some of those selfish penalties, which they were racking up in the first 3 weeks and really shooting themselves in the foot.
They have cleaned that up. NC State has not been as clean in their performance.
3rd down and 7. Hockman gave way to Hornibrook. And that one's going to be incomplete. Flags everywhere.
Pass interference. Defense, number 12. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
On A.J. Litton.
It's a great job of Mezzi fighting through contact to the ball. It's not a good throw by Hockman. This ball is left way inside. And if Litton is playing it better, it's just man coverage. If he's playing it better and looks inside, that ball's thrown right to him. That is your receiver bailing your quarterback out. I think it's one of the reasons these NC State quarterbacks trust Mezzi so much.
Now, just as we were complimenting them on penalties, not racking those up, they pick up the interference. Hand off to Person, trying to dance through the left side, still on his feet. And up into the pile. On the carry, final seconds of the first quarter. A gain of 4. So that will bring up 2nd down and 9.
I would say I'm surprised as we're looking at Matthew McKay. Unless it was a predetermined move just because of where they got gained possession of the football, that they made a move then, still in the first quarter when Matthew McKay has been their starter.
And I'm trying to bounce outside. Person on some tough yardage and getting a little frisky too here in the final seconds of the first quarter. So it's on to the second. Florida State with the 3-0 lead. Not much scoring early on, but the Noles are out in front here in Tallahassee. Welcome back to ACC Network Primetime Football presented by Geico. Start of the second quarter. And the Wolfpack trying to punch it in. 3rd and 2. He slips and down he goes. Well, Hockman losing his footing.
You know, you have a backup quarterback come into the game. You have him playing under center when you play the majority of your snaps in the shotgun. A short yardage situation. You know, sometimes it's just getting used to it. He gets stepped on by the center. Gibson steps on his right foot as he's trying to come out of there. And, you know, those are the little things that happen when you have your backup quarterback play. It's a shame because they ended up getting the ball on the 30-yard line. Really just sputtered on that drive.
Well, this will be Christopher Dunn. Field goal from 29 yards. And he drills it to tie this one up at 3-3 in the early seconds of the second quarter.
Yeah, and I can't say that I'm shocked that we have seen Hockman come into this game because I think Dave Dorn likes to give guys opportunities and certainly feel confident in his depth. They did it a week ago early in the game, as I said, against Ball State, but you know, not all possessions are created equal. And so after the shanked punt by Florida State and you get the ball on the 30-yard line, you know, I was surprised that we didn't see Matthew McKay. Unless it was just a planned thing and then they felt like, hey, we already told him he's going in. We don't want to tell, no, the starter's back out there.
I think the bigger surprise, frankly, was we had been told that Blackman was going to start. Maybe something happened in the pregame drill with that knee. Just didn't feel like he could go, but Hornibrook came on to start for Florida State. Of course, he was so good a week ago.
And you're right, Dave, that is the bigger surprise. There's no question about that. We saw Blackman warming up. I saw him run around the field, didn't seem to have a limp. And even last week when he was injured, it wasn't like he had to be carted off the field. He went and got on the bike, then was walking around, congratulating his team. So you know, we certainly entered in with the expectations that he was going to be the starting quarterback.
Elton will take it, fair catch. NC State has been bringing the pressure on Hornibrook.
And they want to be aggressive defensively. That, I think, is what they want their identity to be. You know, they're going to play with a 3-man front. They really like their linebackers and their safeties. And so bringing pressure I think they feel like fits perfectly with their personnel. And so just communicating it for your young defense on the road is important. So far, so good for that group.
Now, Willie Taggart said last week, you know, he was ready for that moment. The game wasn't too big for him. The moment wasn't too big for him. And nothing there on the attempt by Akers to run to the right. Aleem McNeil with the stop.
You see McNeil gets into the backfield right away. You know, talking to Dave Huxtable, he really felt like the defense coordinator for North Carolina State, he really felt like their defensive line matched up extremely well versus this offensive line for Florida State.
2nd and 11, loss of 1. Helton in motion. And he's hit as he releases, but got it away and complete nonetheless. Or was it dropped eventually? Yeah, it was incomplete.
And Hornibrook just holds on to that a little too long. They're trying to run a wide receiver screen. See that little pump fake there? I don't know if he didn't feel comfortable with the throwing lane, but because he was late to it, it allowed the defense to pursue. And so, you know, Griffin on the pressure and then Wilson there to make the play on the receiver.
So it'll be 3rd down and 11. Hornibrook again pressure, and down he goes as he is sacked. Laurel Murchison, who's really bounced back from being nicked up earlier after spending some time down on the field. He's flying now.
He does this terrible job of the guys up front. Watch them try to pass this off here as the pressure comes. You don't end up going on the other side. Your left guard, Arnold, is coming across and behind the center. You just never, ever do that. I know that they're inexperienced up front, but that is kind of the rule number 1 in pass protection. You want to pass it off, not end up coming around the center.
So Martin to punt, Thomas back at the 40. 2-sport star, also an outstanding baseball player. And that one is loose. And a flag was down way back at about the 12-yard line. And not touched anyway. 12:49 to go here in the second.
Legal formation offense. 5 players in the backfield at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down.
And really that's a break because you re-kick. Ends up being a pretty, good kick by Florida State because, somebody is blocked into Thayer Thomas. He's not able to field the football, takes a Florida State roll. So it's a fortunate break for NC State, but a terrible blow for Florida State is they really were able to swing the field there.
Yeah, so this punt will be from right around the goal line.
And by the way, you talk to anyone that plays special teams, Dave, this is the worst time to cover a kick. You just sprinted down the field full speed, and now you got to do it again.
Thomas back to receive. And Thomas with the fair catch. Florida State 3 and NC State 3. Murchison has been everywhere. He has been the man defensively so far for the Wolfpack. From MacDill Air Force Base here in Florida. Wolfpack on the attack. Knight with the carry. And he'll pick up 5 to bring up 2nd down.
Dave Hockman still in the game at quarterback, which is a surprise to me. Seeing Matthew McKay, seemed like the team had confidence in Matthew McKay, and you see Bailey Hockman out here is a bit of a surprise.
Throw, and that one complete to Powell. As they will pick up the 1st down. Freshman and a real speed guy. So 1st and 10 for the Wolfpack. And off in a big gainer right up the middle by Bam Knight. Taken down by Fagan, but not before he gained 11.
Yeah, and it's a good job of the guys up front. And then look at Angeline Six, the tight end, does a good job of creating a little alley there. Does a nice job on McCray, and bam, hits it hard.
Intended for Powell again, but incomplete with 11:42 to go before halftime.
And some tempo here out of the NC State offense with Bailey Hockman in the lineup.
NC State, by the way, the only school in the country that can boast 5 alums who are currently playing quarterback in the NFL.
Well, and five pretty good ones as well.
Van Knight straight ahead, and a football loose. Florida State on the recovery. Cyrus Fagan scoops up the fumble.
One of the issues you're going to have with young backs, I think Emmett Rice is the guy that gets this ball out. You see Knight has this football. Emmett Rice, as he gets stood up, kind of gets his helmet in there and rakes at the football. And that's clearly out. Say it was Rice, but it maybe was Briggs, 58, getting his helmet on there, not Emmett Rice, who kind of came to the party a little bit after that.
Now the Noles flexing some muscle on the defensive side. So Hornibrook to take over the offense. Looking to throw, and a low pass, but eventually Harrison brought down.
Just look at that. Sorry, Dave. Just look at that play. It's so hard. You got a left-handed quarterback. I think some of these plays you have to think about how you're going to call them differently. It's an RPO to the right, but you now have a left-handed quarterback, and so to get yourself situated around to make that throw is difficult.
Lefty quarterback to fire, and incomplete. Off Harrison. So 3rd down and long. Hornibrook 8 out of 11 for 44 yards so far.
And I would expect a pressure from the right here if I was North Carolina State's defense.
3rd down and 14 for FSU. Got 4 receivers in the game for the Noles. So a lot of targets here for the senior quarterback. On the move. They converge on him, and they get to him again. Big time pressure. Calvin Hart with the sack.
Yeah, and you look at Hornibrook here, he just kind of moves into this pressure. It's a little stunt by the NC State front, and Hornibrook kind of bails out of the pocket rather than just sitting in there and trusting the protection. Tries to escape to his left, which he's clearly more comfortable doing, and he kind of walks his way into that pressure.
Loss of 12, forcing a punt by Tommy Martin.
Tommy Martin on formation.
Thayer Thomas, outstanding outfielder for the Wolfpack baseball team, drops it. That scoops it up, and now nowhere to go. There's a flag on the play. Champions Dave O'Brien alongside Tim Hasselbeck. We're seeing a couple of quarterbacks in the game playing a lot of downs, a lot of minutes that frankly we did not expect to see this early in the game.
Listen, I have a soft spot for backup quarterbacks, okay? I'm never against seeing some of those guys play. But this is a surprise. We thought we would see Alex Hornibrook at some point. I don't think we thought we would see Bailey Hockman this early, or maybe even at all.
Right.
And so I think it's a surprise. And, you know, kind of for Hockman in a hostile environment, it's a great crowd here tonight. It's been noisy. And so, yeah, that's been a surprise for me. And I think that when you look at Alex Hornibrook, you know, things haven't been as easy as they were last time out for him.
Now Hockman continues to play. He'll drop back to throw and fires that one incomplete. That was tipped. Nasruldeen, who is just outstanding back there at free safety and has 28 tackles already this season out of Concord, North Carolina, and can really hit too. Second down and 10. Very low scoring first half here at Doak Campbell. Freshman running back is Houston. He'll get the carry. Look at a bounce toward the edge, but then back inside and gobbled up by Samuel. But a gain of 9.
You kind of need to create an opportunity where it's third and manageable. Obviously 3rd and 1 here, but you know, both of these offenses have been dealing with third and long or third and really long situations like this. So much easier to call plays.
3rd down and 1. And the crowd getting loud in Tallahassee. That's exactly what Willie Taggart was asking for this week in his press conference on Monday. Quarterback will keep that, Hockman, and pick up the first down.
And NC State offensively, that'll be kind of a call at the line of scrimmage where they, you know, they'll say, hey, look, you're in there. We have a run called. We have a call where you can just go ahead and take the sneak if you think you see a bubble in that defensive line, which is what they did there.
Mezzi, Hines, and Lassane, the wide receivers in there for NC State. And now joined by Devin Carter. On 1st and 10 for the backup Hockman. And looking for some help on a block. Can't get free outside. That was Tabari Hines, stopped by Levante Taylor, who's been very active.
He's been active. He does a great job of pursuing. That play is really made by Josh Brown, who has Kerry Angeline trying to block him on the perimeter. But 51, Josh Brown, the linebacker, he just stands him up, and that's what allowed Levante Taylor to come in and make the tackle.
So 2nd and 9. Mezzi in motion. Hockman rolling. Gets free. Now dumps that one off to Mezzi, and out he goes. That's his favorite wide receiver coming into play tonight. He had made 25 catches.
It's a really nice play by Bailey Hockman as he escapes outside the pocket here. When you run move the pocket plays, you want to push the perimeter, which is exactly what he does. He gets Brown to draw into him because he thinks that he's, you know, a threat as a runner, and then he's just able to dump it off to a Mezzi there. We can run after the catch.
And enough to pick up the first and 10. Hockman trying the sideline, and a terrific catch made by Devin Carter. Right along the sideline, and they're into the red zone.
It's a great catch, and it's also a great throw. He's just able to get on top of Stanford Samuels. And you look at Carter, 6'4". He's able to just go up over the top. Leaves enough room for the quarterback from the sideline. It's a good-looking wide receiver. Nice throw, great play.
Coming into this game, the Wolfpack 19 for 19 in the red zone with 13 touchdowns.
Ruling on the field is under further review.
I'll see what they're reviewing here on that catch along the sideline.
I'm with you, Dave. It looks like he catches his football. Plenty of room from the sideline. So they're looking at.
He's got it there. What do you think?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I mean,
it's a routine reception.
I think he stands up and probably handed it to the official.
Well, I guess they're checking the spot now. That's what they're looking for.
I mean, look, I understand it, but he caught the ball.
There is no review on the play. The play ended at the 6-yard line. We will remove the ball, put it at the 6-yard line.
So they moved to the 6-yard line from the 5-yard line.
He's down there. I mean, it looks like he's maybe the 7-yard line. To be honest with you, though, I mean, you could do that on every single play.
Sure. Especially
on run plays inside. I don't think you need to stop the game for that.
So 1st and goal from the 6. Wolfpack on the move. Not much there as Robinson met Person.
And really just a slow developing run play, and Robinson comes off, the edge here. When he's unblocked, it's just kind of a misdirection run play, but Robinson able to run it down from behind. I've seen that a couple times now, where these slow developing run plays are able to be chased down from behind. It's a nice job by Robinson.
2nd and goal. After a loss of 3. And incomplete. He wanted Person, but a misfire.
It's interesting. You have that huge play, the big play on the go route to Carter, and then they stop the game. In NC State, much like Florida State, likes tempo. And, that's why I didn't like the official stopping it for maybe a yard in terms of where it was spotted. And get your offense out of a rhythm if you want to go fast.
Well, like you say, you could do that on virtually every play. 3rd down and goal. At the 9-yard line of the Seminoles. And whistles before the snap.
Timeout, NC State.
So Dave Doran takes a timeout. We'll be back in just a moment. Back in Tallahassee, and the Wolfpack of NC State knocking on the door. It's 3rd down and 9. Now let's see if they put it in the air. Hockman, the backup quarterback, major story here in the first half. He's played most of the snaps. Hockman from the gun to the end zone. Incomplete. And no flags on the play. Coverage by Cyrus Fagan.
And Bailey Hockman is going to want this one back. Ricky Persman is in the backfield, and he's just going to leak out here as Angeline goes to the corner. Well, look at the fullback Person, or the halfback Person. He's wide open. He's uncovered. You just throw him the football, he'll end up walking into the end zone. Seemed like Bailey Hockman, who knew he had pressure on that play, didn't look at the entire picture, ends up trying to force the corner route.
This will be done from 26. And that is good. So NC State with a 6-3 lead, 6:25 to go before halftime.
Now Hockman coming off the field there saying, hey, listen, we had a tight end. If you hit Ricky Person in the flat, they blitz the protection, but they don't cover Person who's running into the flat. And I think Dave Doran is saying, okay, hey, talk to me. I know you haven't played a ton, but what did you see? Because we left some points on off the board there that we should have had.
And Angeline, a very big target at 6'7".
Yeah, Dave, I think it's a great point. You have a 6'7" tight end that's had success in the red zone already this year. As a quarterback, you're kind of thinking, okay, hey, my big target. But that's why you have to read it out if you're the quarterback, because your halfback in the flat was a walk-in.
How surprised are you right now that it's a 6-3 game? I think, looking at these offenses, particularly how they've both been quick starters, we expected a lot more points.
And we've seen Florida State before, and we've seen them start fast before. And we know the talent that they have on the perimeter and the quality of back they have in Cam Akers, and the fact that this is a young NC State defense that, didn't play great on the road when they went to West Virginia. So I think this is really surprising.
6:25 to go here in the second quarter at Doak Campbell. Well, the defenses have been really good. NC State 7 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. See if Cam Akers really starts to rock and roll. They want to get him at least 25 touches per game. Still on his feet and breaking free is Wilson. Pokey Wilson with a 17-yard pickup.
It's a good aware play by Wilson. As you see, as he spun down here, I think he's sitting on top of Smith. Good awareness. Got to get back up and run.
A man down for NC State. And that is Tayshawn Smith, left cornerback, sophomore out of Fort Lauderdale.
Which would be a really tough blow for this NC State defense. Nick McLeod has been the starter at corner. Well, he was injured a week ago, and so they've been playing Keyshawn Miller, Tayshaun Smith in his place. And I think that's one of the areas where Dave Doeren felt like his team, you know, you see Wilson just lands on top of him. You know, Dave Doeren is recognizing the talent and the speed of these Florida State wide receivers, and so playing some of these younger, inexperienced corners, you know, not knowing for sure, you know, how they would match up with them. And so, you know, an injury to Smith certainly doesn't help that any for NC State.
Yeah, they are very much aware that even though NC State won the game last year and won it 47-28, several of the Florida State wideouts had career days. You know, DJ Matthews, 133 yards, and Terry with 142 yards. Those were career highs against the Wolfpack.
That's why it's so critical, Dave. You're talking about, you know, the pressures and hits on the quarterback so far by this front of NC State, you know, to do that, to protect these guys. And that's what Dave Huxtable, the defensive coordinator for NC State, you know, really was talking about, was trying to protect the younger corners that are playing in place of Nick McLeod.
So NC State by 3. With 6:14 to go in the second quarter. First down and 10. James Blackman, the #1 quarterback for the Seminoles, has not played it down in this one. This is going to be ripped off for a big gain by Helton. Very simple play, but he's going to gain 13.
It's essentially a sweep. You look at the right tackle, Roberts, he just releases and does a good job of just getting enough of more. And Helton, you see his speed when he gets on the perimeter, outstanding once the ball is in his hands.
Akers trying to bounce outside. They converge on him to bring up second down. Murchison with another tackle. Just 19 yards so far for Akers. Second and 9 for the Noles. Pressure. Dumps it off, incomplete. He's getting a lot of that tonight. Ingram came. The right corner, the junior from Salisbury, North Carolina.
And Hornibrook, for the second time, doesn't see the corner pressure. Here it comes from over here. And watch Hornibrook as he is trying to sell, you know, the screen here. He doesn't recognize it. And so if he would have seen it earlier, he could have drifted, given ground. But because he saw it late, it ended up affecting the throw.
Third down. Hornibrook at Wisconsin, started 32 of the 35 games he played in. Quick throw and a quick hit. Terry, touchdown, 44 yards.
And that's the speed we're talking about with these Florida State wide receivers. Tamarian Terry, Scary Terry as they like to call him, just runs a slant. And you know, if you're Dave Doeren and you're in man coverage and you think, well, shoot, Chris Ingram is our best corner on the field right now, he can maybe make that tackle, but just Hornibrook able to keep him on the move, and then you saw the speed into the end zone.
Scary Terry indeed lights it up, but it'll be blocked. Peyton Wilson, he got his hand on it to deny the point after. So Florida State with a 9-6 lead.
We've seen these block extra points become factors in football games. Wilson's a guy that they really like, gives great effort. He's a young player. They think he's going to be great. But that comes after this. Tamarian Terry on the slant. Tanner Engel, who's a really good player at free safety, doesn't take the right angle. And it's why it's so important as a quarterback to keep the speed of the wide receiver up when he's running an in-breaking route.
There's a flag down here. Flag came late. .4:59 to go before halftime.
I think they may be getting Peyton Wilson on.
Yeah, they're going to kick this again.
Or maybe some. Yeah, I think potentially leaping on Peyton Wilson. You saw him, get so free there. I think he jumped over the line.
Hurdled over, so count the extra point, and that will make it 10-6.
Yeah, as you see Wilson here, using his arms to jump over the offensive lineman. Armstrong kind of leverages over him, and you can't do that. Rules really in place to protect, the defenders from going up and getting flipped over.
Impressive nonetheless, though, because Armstrong is 6'4", 320 pounds.
Well, listen, it is an athletic play. Wilson is no doubt athletic. Really, we used to see Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks do that. It was kind of, you would run and you would jump over the guy, and they kind of eliminated it to protect the players. The officials end up getting that one right, and certainly a better way to cap that drive off by Florida State. And so you just see what I was talking about, that speed of the wide receivers, and I think that Dave Doran, I think that was his biggest concern, with the youth of his team, but the speed of the wide receivers and how his guys match up, I think is the thing he's got to try to deal with the most in terms of facing this Florida State offense. I think his quote exactly was, "I'm concerned with the speed of the wide receivers, not the speed of how quickly they snap the football."
So the re-kick of the PAT makes it 10-6. And now we'll see how his young quarterback performs, the 6'2", 210-pounder Bailey Hockman. Matthew McKay, the sophomore, the starter, did start the ball game, but didn't last very long. So under 5 minutes to go here before the half, and a fair catch. Bailey Hockman, who transferred to NC State from Florida State. So far 4 out of 8, no touchdowns and no interceptions.
And I've just been surprised that we've seen him, Dave. I mean, I don't know that Matthew McKay had played in a way that made me feel like they needed something else in their offense to get them jump started.
Right.
And we see the numbers there. It's not like Hockman has jump started this offense.
Almost as if they were hoping for a surprise element that has not been delivered, not yet. Jordan Houston back with him, but he is back to throw. And on the screen, nobody there to block. And no gain. Cyrus Fagan, strong safety, came up to say hello. And that will bring up second down. Hockman with the handoff. Houston finds a big hole on that left side. He'll pick up the first down. Boy, he is a tough runner. Got a good block, too.
He got a great block. It was a good job of the guys up front at getting movement. They bring Fed Jackson around the puller. There's a little kick out. Witt as well. And then Houston's the guy they feel like has a lot of speed. They think he's a good perimeter player, but has been running the ball well inside the tackles.
Gained 15, but a man down. 4:27 on the clock. It may be Taylor, as FSU is out to 10 to Levante. Taylor's had a really impressive first half.
He really has. He's been flying around, and you look at this Florida State defense. They really have been been banged up the last few weeks. Jaden Lars would be. They lost last week. The week prior to that, Joshua Kendo goes out, and I just think that when you have a defense that's trying to come together, and you have a defense that's been playing as many snaps as this defense has been playing, the injuries just seem to be stacking up on them. Losing Taylor would be a big blow.
And Willie Taggart told us this week that they've worked hard on trying to eliminate the penalties, particularly on the defensive side, the selfish penalties, which have really hurt them in the early going. And Harlan Barnett, the defensive coordinator, said, what we're trying to teach these guys is if an opponent shoves you, you don't need to shove him back. Get his number, remember it, have a good memory, and then get him legally.
I think that's pretty good advice.
Yes.
Whether you're Florida State's defense or anybody's.
First down and 10. Taylor into the tent. Hockman from the gun. Wants to throw. Right over the middle and complete to Thayer Thomas for 15.
And that's good timing and good ball location by Hockman. You know, when you have a receiver going to the middle field, don't make him reach. Hit him right between the 8 and the 7 like he does there.
Blackman looking like he's getting a little bit more comfortable, but that one is incomplete. Samuel came very quickly from that corner.
Yeah, and you see Asante Samuel Jr., he just jumps this, running a hitch. Carter kind of slow off the line of scrimmage. Samuel's reading back into the backfield, seeing Hockman. And you have to think now, if you're NC State, you know Samuel's an aggressive player. Not be surprised to see them test him double move or just trying to run by him at some point.
Second down 10 and a flag down.
False start offense. Number 67, 5-yard penalty, second down.
So that will back it up for the Wolfpack. Coming up in a 4-minute mark. And right at the 50. Second down 15. Hockman from the pocket and complete. Tough catch. That was Thomas paying the price after the reception. Gain of 5. Thomas, multi-talented. We talked about his baseball skills. He was drafted by the Boston Red Sox this year. Very good outfielder. And he's thrown a touchdown pass this season.
He's a very good athlete and has a great feel playing inside. Surprising that he's not out there on 3rd and 10.
Jabari Hines is. Pressure on him, but complete. Hines on the move. And a flag is down. With 3:17 left in the half.
There is no foul in the play, 4th down.
That's happened a couple of times here in the first half where a flag was thrown, but there was no penalty.
And I think what was happening there is that was a shallow cross screen. So basically, Hockman knows he's throwing a shallow cross, and the rest of the receivers, they release down the field to go block. I think there was maybe an initial feeling that Angeline maybe initiated his block before the reception was made. I think it was the right call to pick up the flag.
4th and 1. From the 36. And the handoff person trying that right side, but he is shut down. Nowhere for Ricky Person to run. Another big stop by the Noles defensively. Boy, as a unit, they have been very impressive, Tim.
They've been great, especially the guys up front. And I believe that's Marvin Wilson right there, the big defensive lineman. Just look at the push that he gets. Fed Jackson's a good player, but he just plays on their side of the line of scrimmage. Not only does he cause that penetration to string the play out, but he ends up slipping off and making the tackle. And celebrate, big fella. That's a good play.
Yes, Marvin Wilson, guy who's really redefined his body. He's a team captain. Harlan says that he thinks he's sexy now with this new body of his.
They can think he's a lot of things if he'll make plays like that on 4th down.
No, sure. Hornibrook with time. Dumps it short but incomplete. There is a flag. And it will be holding.
Holding, offense. Number 75, 10-yard penalty, first down.
On Bello, the left tackle. The senior from Nigeria. 2:45 left in the half. And Florida State looking to add on top 10-6 over the Wolfpack, who have beaten them 2 straight times. So 1st and 20. They'll throw on the slant and complete to Terry, taken down by Chris Ingram. But a gain of 9.
Saw Terry on the touchdown, saw Terry again on the slant. If I'm Kendall Briles, if I'm Alex Hornibrook, I want to come back to that as much as possible.
And they lined up offside.
Encroachment offense. Number 7 lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
DJ Matthews, the wide receiver. So FSU going backwards again. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 15 for Florida State. Hornibrook has played the entire first half. He'll keep moving to his left at the 30, and he'll flip that one out. Good pressure by Murchison. He has had an outstanding first half despite going down briefly with an injury. He's come back with a vengeance. So a 3rd down and 15 for Hornibrook and FSU. Under 2 minutes to go in a half.
And I think Hornibrook's got to work something to his left. There's so much rotation of the coverage to Terry.
Steps up in the pocket. Rifles it over to center, but that's going to be dropped. Trying to hit Terry right there in midfield. There is a flag down.
Defense number 97. 16-yard penalty. First down.
See, Hornibrook actually does a nice job climbing in the pocket there. See the late hit, the shove in the back, but lies. And really, Terry is kind of getting doubled. They're rolling coverage over the top of him, and so he breaks that off and comes to the middle. He's there for a big play. Could have seen another catch and run opportunity for him.
A late hit. 1st and 10. Plenty of time to throw. Batted down, incomplete. Right into Peyton Wilson.
That's such a dangerous throw and not one that you can make. Terry's just running a slant. And Hornibrook is so late that you just can't force that in there. He's fortunate that Peyton Wilson wasn't able to tip that ball off and pick it off.
2nd down 10. With the ball on the 48. Akers back in there. And a timeout.
Timeout. NC State. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So Dave Doran has used all of his. 1:42 to go in a low-scoring first half. Two teams that have been piling up the offense this season, but not tonight to this point.
That is NC State's final timeout of the half.
Quarterback play has been so fascinating. We talked about the starting guys who have played no role in this at all so far tonight, Tim.
And that's been shocking because, you know, I don't think that in our preparation we saw two teams that were being held back by their quarterback. And so to make a change, obviously seems like each coach is trying to do something to spark his offense to get it going. And, you know, here we are at the 10-6 ball game. It hasn't exactly worked that way.
No, not exactly as they had hoped. You wonder, sometimes there's an element of surprise in there that, you know, hopeful that a guy they really haven't prepped that much for is going to make an impact, but that clearly has not worked.
No, that has not been the case. And I think the other aspect of it is when, you know, I think we are seeing two defenses that have a lot of talent on them, and I think both groups are probably playing a little bit better than they have played in previous weeks.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 here with a football on the 48-yard line for Hornibrook and the Noles. Trying to win again here at home. On a handoff, Akers busted through the initial tackle and taken down by Asus to present 3rd and 9. Now, last week he was so accurate. Hornibrook was 15 out of 20, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he was not intercepted. And the comeback win. Flags down and batted away. Incomplete. But a flag on the play. See if this is an illegal formation. With 1:04 to go in the first half. And Florida State on top 10-6. NC State coming in 3-1. This is their ACC opener. Lost to West Virginia on the road, but wins over East Carolina, Western Carolina, and Ball State. Akers is applauding here.
During the play, illegal formation offense, 5 players in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down. After the play is over, dead ball, unnecessary roughness defense, number 10, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's on Tanner Engel. The hard-hitting free safety for NC State.
Oh, and that's clearly a late hit, unnecessary, and that's a terrible penalty. I mean, you think most successful 2-minute drives are aided by either a quarterback run or a penalty, and there's a penalty for Florida State to help assist this drive.
Back to throw. Throwing long, has a receiver open, and a touchdown, Wilson. 39 yards for the strike.
It's a phenomenal route by Wilson. He runs a slant and go, and it's a good ball by Alex Hornibrook. And they are attacking Palmer, number 6, the corner, who is now in the game because of the injuries to Nick McLeod last week and Tayshawn Smith earlier in this game.
Aguayo for the point after, and he drills that to put FSU in front 17-6 over the Wolfpack. We take a look at our New York Life drive recap.
Well, here's Wilson at the top of the screen. Look how wide his split is. He's going to run a slant and go, and he's doing it on really a 3rd string corner. That's what he's looking at here. There's the slant. He bites it, gets on the top, and then it's just a good job of Hornibrook of making sure that he gives his wide receiver a chance to make a play on the football. Outstanding route. Good job getting in and out of your break, and just way too much speed for Palmer.
Pokey Wilson into the end zone. You were talking about how penalties so often influence these drives in the last couple of minutes.
And I think you have that penalty, Dave. You know, it's 15 yards, and then it kind of puts you right on, you know, the plus side of the 50-yard line. And most play callers, once they get to that kind of plus 45 range, they feel confident in calling a shot play because of the field position, and Kendall Briles certainly dialed it up.
So the last minute of play before the break, and a festive atmosphere here in Tallahassee as Florida State leads it 17-6 on a 39-yard touchdown pass to Pokey Wilson. Give you a look at Blackman's reaction on this one. A man who did not start. We thought he probably would, but getting in there for the congratulations on Pokey Wilson.
And that's great. It's one of the reasons he has the C on his jersey. He's captain. He was hurt last year, and one of the things the team really liked about his leadership was how upbeat he was all last year while he was dealing with that injury. And
yeah, he's an incredibly popular guy in this team.
And he should be when you handle an injury the way he's handled an injury, when you handle this situation the way that he appears to be handling this situation. I think that guys on your team will respect that.
Because he has the injured knee. Maybe he tweaked that in the pregame. He's a guy who threw 4 touchdown passes against NC State last year. And off to Person across the 30. Taken down by Nasruddin, but that was an 8-yard pickup. Second down 2. Hockman to throw and complete. Got his tight end Angeline and picks up the first down with a 16-yard pass.
It's a really nice pass, kind of a good throw after the drive starter on the run. And really the only thing that could hamper this drive is, remember, no timeouts, because they called him earlier, 1 on defense and 2 earlier on offense.
Hockman, time, throwing deep, looking to the left side, and it is caught. And that was Emezi with a spectacular catch.
To me, it originally looked like he comes down with this. I thought that Den had a chance to maybe intercept this. The ball looks like it kind of bounces on the ground there.
Oh, now they're going to call it incomplete.
And I think that's the right call. It's a good job of Emezi going up and fighting for the football, because, Akeem Dent is rotated over to that side, and it really looked like he had an opportunity to intercept that football.
For the review.
Oh, they're going to review it now. So this play will be under review. And did he come down in bounds? It's been ruled on the field incomplete.
And I think we see that ball bounce there, Dave, as he's coming down with it. Mezi's coming down basically the same time that the ball is coming down, and dribbles it off the turf here real quick.
As you said, they have no more timeouts left. This is a huge review here on an incomplete pass.
And because of the fact that you don't have the timeouts, with 30 seconds, what can you get off if you keep the ball, in bounds? And obviously the clock will stop quickly for a first down, but can you run a play quickly after getting a first down, maybe give yourself an opportunity, at least attempt a field goal.
And from there, if they overturn this, that's 34 yards, that field goal attempt. 30 seconds to go.
Are you seeing it the way I am, though? I mean, to me, I feel like that ball is loose.
They are going to call that, I think, incomplete because of that reason, Tim.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Second down.
So the play stands.
Now, the advantage to NC State, even though they didn't get the benefit of the call there, is you've had a stoppage of play. So maybe you call 2 plays now at this point because you've had the time to communicate to your offense.
From the 49. Second down 10. Hockman wants to throw again. From the pocket, overthrown and nearly intercepted. Well, Fagan had a golden opportunity, and he knows it.
Fagan had a golden opportunity, and so did Hines. Number 5, the receiver, coming across the formation. He's wide open. Great pass protection by NC State. Hockman's just got to be able to pull that ball, down, drive it down into the chest of Hines, and he maybe catches it, Dave, and is able to run out of bounds.
Third down 10. 25 seconds left in the second quarter. Hockman to gun it again, and this one is complete to Hines. Right at the 40-yard line as they pick up the first. And a player is down. A couple of men, in fact, are down for FSU. Slow to get up. Robinson and Durden. And now Durden is going to take a seat with 20 seconds left. And coming up on the ACC Network halftime report, Dalek Cuff, Eric McLean, Mark Richt, and E.J. Manuel have those stories you want to see about North Carolina and that tremendous effort against Clemson today. Virginia with costly turnovers, and Wake Forest remaining undefeated, now 5-0.
It's really incredible what Wake Forest has done. They're getting great quarterback play, and Dave Clawson's done a tremendous job with that group. It seems like they just have continued to get better each year, you know, while he's been the head coach.
The clock will start on my signal.
Durden coming up 6'5", 305 pounds from Newberry, Florida.
And for all intents and purposes, Dave, that's a timeout for this NC State offense.
Yes. On a warm night. Comes in handy. NC State is without any more timeouts. Hockman from the shotgun. Looking, firing, and incomplete, intended for Thomas. And 10 seconds to go.
You know, the way Florida State is playing, they're playing a cover two. They're playing their safeties wide. Hitting that corner is going to be hard. The middle of the field is going to be open. The question is, with 10 seconds, do you feel comfortable throwing the ball in the middle of the field, declaring yourself down, and trying to spike the football?
Hockman stepping up, got free. Has time to survey, stops at the 40 in a short pass as Carter steps out with 1 second to go before halftime.
That's an awesome play by Devin Carter. I mean, when your quarterback is scrambling, he's in trouble. Work for your quarterback. Carter does that. He's right on the sideline, aware of the situation, catches the football and gets out of bounds. That's a great play by a redshirt freshman wide receiver.
Opportunity for the field goal. Christopher Dunn. This would be from 42 yards for the Wolfpack. And it is off the post. Off the upright. He cannot hit it. And that's how the first half comes to an end. This game from the get-go, and with a couple of big receivers out there, he found them.
He did, and you know, really there hasn't been a whole lot of offense in this game, and really no rhythm for either team, but Alex Hornibrook, his ability to find big plays has been the difference so far.
So Florida State with the football here in the second half. And going to bust it long. Here's Helton all the way down the left side. .58 yards. And not a bad way to start the second half.
A great way for Florida State to start the second half. We talked about their second half, you know, woes this season. That's a great way to kick it off. And really, the difference for them has been the big plays in the passing game. You know, I mentioned just a second ago their inability to get into a rhythm offensively. Well, they've gotten two huge plays in the passing game. One on a slant to Tamarion Terry that he's able to take to the house because of his speed, and then a slant and go to Pokey Wilson, and Alex Hornibrook's able to put it on him. That's really been the difference in this football game.
Little bobble. He'll fire. Complete. Now it's free, and NC State able to jump on that. In and out of the hands of Trey McKitty, but it's going to be incomplete. They call it incomplete.
I think incomplete is the proper call here as McKitty gets hit. I don't know that he ever has it secure as Miller is able to hit him first. And it was actually a good job of Hornibrook kind of gathering the snap as it was high before he threw that seam.
Brings up 2nd down and 10. Akers nowhere to run on his first carry, taken down by Moore. Isaiah Moore with a tackle. So 3rd and 11. And again, if you're just joining us, James Blackman, the regular starter, injured last week, knee injury, has not played it down for FSU in this one. Hornibrook trying to scramble now and throws that one. And Harrison the target. Good quarterback pressure there by Elias. So they got nothing out of that.
That's a huge win for this NC State defense. I mean, you have to think that that was the conversation at halftime. Hey, Florida State's going to get this football. You know, in order for us to get something going on offense, we need a quick 3 and out, and that's exactly what they get.
After a very long kickoff return, which put them in great field position. There, Thomas back for the punt, standing at the 10-yard line. Trying down this one inside the 5-yard line. A tremendous play on the coverage by Samuel. Let's go down to Larisha.
Well, I spoke to head coach Willie Taggart of Florida State, and he gave me the reason as to why we have not seen James Blackman, and that is because he actually tweaked his knee again yesterday. We were told that he had a great practice all week, but he wasn't comfortable with playing him today. And then I caught up with head coach Dave Doran, and he told me the reasoning as to why we have seen Bailey Hockman, and that's because he said they needed a spark. The other quarterback, Matthew McKay, was not producing as he wanted to, so he put in Bailey Hockman so that they can get that spark and be a little more productive on the offensive side.
Larisha, thank you. And we kind of had that thought that maybe he did something either today or yesterday to tweak that knee injury, and they wanted to stay away from him. On the handoff as this drive begins from the 2-yard line, it's Ricky Person.
Yeah, Dave, I think we're probably a little bit less surprised. We were planning on seeing Alex Hornibrook. We knew James Blackman was banged up. And so we thought we would see both quarterbacks at some point, you know, but Matthew McKay starts the game. So when you flip it over to the other side, Matthew McKay starts the game, really given no indication that felt like Matthew McKay, you know, would be in a situation where, you know, he would give way to for the entire game to Bailey Hockman, which seems like is happening now.
Jackson taking down Person. And he is shaken up on the play. In the opening seconds of the second half, with Florida State in the lead 17-6 over NC State. They're cast out, and they have the card out as well. His teammates looking on with great concern. 6'1", 220-pound sophomore from Wake Forest, North Carolina. A guy who is the #2 rusher behind Bam Knight. Injuries have kind of stalled his progress, but he is on his back here and was all through the commercial break as well.
In person for this North Carolina State offense really was their power back, their best short yardage runner, who's also, you know, probably the back, considering the other 2 running backs are true freshmen, that, you know, they trusted the most in pass protection, maybe the most reliable. And obviously you hope that Ricky Person is okay as they get him up onto the cart. It's certainly going to put the North Carolina State offense into a situation where they're playing true freshman running backs now between Jordan Houston and Bam Knight, who, you know, already has a fumble on the evening.
Ricky at Heritage High at Wake Forest was coached by 3 former NFL players, Dwayne Washington, Torrey Holt, and Willie Parker. So a lot of excellent coaching. Unfortunately, he's about to leave the game here at Tallahassee with 13:28 to go in the third quarter, and Florida State with a 17-6 lead. And his teammates coming over to try and console him a little bit. And receiving a very warm hand here by the fans in Florida State. So Bam Knight will come back in as the running back for the Wolfpack. Have been led almost all night long by a sophomore quarterback, the #2 man, Bailey Hockman. They were hoping for a spark. 3rd and 1. And he meets a wall. Knight with a carry, but met by Leonard Warner first. And that's going to bring up 4th down.
And Leonard Warner's a guy that they've moved around this defense a little bit. He's played outside. He's playing inside here. And he just fills. 6'4", 241, and he just met Bam Knight right in the hole. Nice play by the inside backer.
So Trenton Gill, the punt from the end zone, with Matthews back at his 40. And a very short punt. It takes a nice hop, though, and will roll to the 38. Here's a breakdown of the yardage tonight for the Seminoles. Look at this, 83 yards on 2 touchdown passes.
And that's really been the story of the game. I mean, neither offense has got things going. You said Dave Dorn wanted, you know, to spark the offense. That's why Hockman's playing. I think that Willie Taggart felt like there would be a spark also. That's why Hornibrook was scheduled to play even without the James Blackman injury. And we haven't seen it, but what we have seen is 2 big plays because of the speed at wideout for Florida State. Pokey Wilson on the slant and go, and Terry on the slant that he was able to take to the house.
Scary Terry. He had a very big game against NC State last year, too. He's off to the races tonight. With a handoff, it's Akers looking to bounce outside across the 40. Pushed out by Tanner Ingle, but not before a gain of 8.
And this is all Cam Akers. This isn't blocked well at all. He's got pursuit from behind. Front side isn't any good. He's just able to bounce it and then bounce it again. You know, I don't think people talk about his speed enough. We talk about his power, but those yards were made by the running back alone.
On the reception, Warren Thompson on the catch. And FSU on the move. That picks up 11.
It's a nice job of Hornibrook. Looks like Thompson is in, of layering the football. I think he does a nice job of changing the trajectory of the throw. Certainly necessary there with an underneath defender.
He'll throw again and complete to pick up another 1st down. Pokey Wilson, he's liked him tonight.
And it's Wilson on Keyshawn Miller. You know, again, a reserve corner who's, you know, being forced into action because of injuries. And they're just winning easily on these slants and able to run a little bit afterwards.
Wilson's already caught a touchdown pass. Flares this one out. That's Cam Akers. And we talked with Florida State about his pass catching ability and where to rank it. They said 10 out of 10. Great hands.
And I think that's why Dave Dorn said to us, he's special. He's the guy that you have to deal with because he can do it all. And big part of it is getting him the ball in the run game and the pass game.
We're trying to keep that, but down he goes. Taken down by Asus, the junior from Spring Valley, New York. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 8. The second half has been a very different story for Florida State, particularly the 4th quarter, where they've really scrapped the score as opposed to early in the game, where in the 1st quarter they've been the best in the ACC. He has time in the pocket. Now scrambling, trying to get loose. Down he goes, taken down by Elias. That is the 6th time he's been sacked.
Yeah, and I think he kind of causes this one. You see there's a bit of a panic there. It's outstanding pass protection. You know, this offensive line has been highly criticized, but they do a really nice job there versus a 3-man rush. And Hornibrook drops his eyes and rather than just kind of staying in there, remaining a passer, seemed like he was trying to be eager to escape and basically walks himself into a sack.
Now here's Aguayo from 47 yards. Remember, he missed 3 against Louisville last weekend. That kick is up, and that kick is no good. He has missed another one. FSU's great radio voice, Gene Deckeroff, calling his 500th Seminole game tonight. The voice of FSU football since '79. Named Florida Sportscaster of the Year 14 times. He's in the FSU Hall of Fame. Here's his touchdown call tonight.
Here's the snap to Hornibrook. Quick pass. Caught ball. First down to the 30. Across the 25 to the 20. To the 15 to the 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown to Mario Terry. He is scary. And the Noles retake the lead.
He is scary, and Gene is a legend here at Florida State.
Yeah, it's outstanding. 500 games, and obviously a great call there to Mario Terry. One of the most exciting plays of the game so far.
I'd say that's number one. Well, the Wolfpack trailing 17-6, and an incomplete pass on 1st and 10, intended for Powell. Well, Hockman has not provided the lift they had hoped for.
They've thrown 10 passes coming into this game. Now he's playing with 2 true freshman running backs. They were looking for a spark, and I don't think that it's come. And so you just wonder if this offense continues to sputter with him, if we would maybe see Matt McKay back in the lineup.
Remaining on the sideline, 2nd down and 10. Houston, one of the freshman running backs. He'll get the call here, and they snuffed that out quickly. Dontavius Jackson jumped on him, and he had nowhere to go.
You know, Jackson just times up his pressure. Here he comes. He comes from here. He's just going to run this thing down from behind. I mean, that's just incredible effort, good instincts, great timing on the blitz by Jackson, who, you know, has been kind of in and out of the lineup. They've been rotating him with Rice, but that's great instincts and basically seeing it and hitting it.
Trent Penix now into the back. Wants to throw, and that one nearly intercepted and broken up on the sideline by Asante Samuel as they were looking for Hines, but nearly picked.
Yeah, Asante Samuel really does a good job on this out. He kind of collisions Hines at the top of the route and then almost undercuts it. And if you're, you know, Hockman, you got to miss outside because that was dangerously close to going back the other way. By the way, his father, Asante Samuel, from the Patriots, as we remember, the 2-time Super Bowl champion, he kind of has that same aggressiveness to his game, you know, where he is looking to jump at nearly every single route.
It's in the DNA. There's no denying that. Matthews back to receive the punt. And he's going to run it. Gets to the 30, trying to make a spin move, and he's taken down. So that's where the drive will begin here for FSU. On top 17-6 here in the 3rd quarter at Tallahassee. Welcome back to Bobby Bowden Field at Doak Campbell Stadium, where Florida State has a 17-6 lead over NC State. Wolfpack playing their first ACC game of the season. FSU at 2-2. They get a bye week coming up. And so they want very much to have a nice win over a tough opponent heading into that bye week. Hornibrook to roll and fire into the flat, complete to Laburn and taken down by Drake Thomas. And picks up 4. Hornibrook with a lot of targets, some terrific wide receivers. That'll be complete to Keith Gavin to bring up 3rd down. Hornibrook out of Chester, Pennsylvania, 6'4", about 220. And a handoff and a 1st down. Laburn strong up the middle. Very elusive running back.
You know, we don't talk about him much because we see so much of Cam Akers, but Laburn, a good back in his own right, and does a good job there on 3rd and short. Was well blocked, just kind of lowers his pad level.
Right down the middle and complete to Keyshawn Helton before Ingles stopped him. And another big gain, this one for 24 yards.
Yeah, and you just look at Helton, does a good job of just working into the middle, zone coverage, find that void there, kind of throttles down a little bit, and good job of catching him by Hornibrook.
Helton again, this time to the left side. He's collared out Taken down by Wilson. Did not see a flag. Well, it looked initially like a pretty late hit, didn't it?
You know, it was on the boundary there, and Wilson is pursuing. And it was certainly a violent hit.
No flag thrown. 2nd down and 3. And he'll throw that one out. Good pressure by Drake Thomas, the middle linebacker, who was coming.
You know, and NC State's defense needs to do something to spark this team. You know, we're putting all the pressure on their offense to, you know, get something going, but, you know, haven't created a turnover. You know, you kind of find yourself in these 3rd down situations. Can you get off the field and give Bailey Hockman another opportunity with the football?
4 out of 11 on 3rd downs for FSU. And from the 24-yard line. 3rd and 3. He'll throw short. Trying to pick up the 1st down. Layburn. And stopped by Miller. And did they get it?
I mean, just look at this offensive line, Dave. I mean, look at them. They all cut. Look at them all go to the ground and just cut, trying to get the hands down. But you're basically just stoning that front of NC State. It's a 3-man front. And it's almost like they're afraid to come off the ball in fear of getting cut because of the way that offensive line is pass protecting in the quick game.
They do pick up the 1st down. So they're moving the sticks. Down to the 21-yard line of NC State. And they're jumping on the line.
Full start. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Abdul Bello on the false start.
I believe that's his 2nd false start. He's actually done a nice job filling in for Juwan Williams, who's been out with an ankle injury. And, you know, Bello's been a guy that, you know, for the most part is held his own, considering, you know, how banged up and how injured and kind of how much they've shuffled around guys on that offensive line.
Brady Scott out and Mike Arnold in at the guard, and a timeout.
Timeout, Florida State.
Shirts, especially when the talent is throwing it to them.
I think what they were excited about was that Larisha is actually left-handed. So when I was throwing it, they were calling for the lefty, since we've seen Hornibrook and Hockman tonight. That's what they were doing. They were like, no, get the righty out of here.
Yeah.
We're glad that you've brought the lefty in.
Call for the lefty from the bullpen. And Larisha's right there to take over. 6:07 to go, 3rd quarter. Here at FSU. Family weekend here. Good crowd on hand. Hornibrook looking and finds Matthews, but it's incomplete. And him open for a moment. 6:02 to go in the 3rd. 2nd down. Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator. They've been averaging about 34 points a game.
And they're going a little slower, Dave, you know, and I think that is there a little more of their conditioning, maybe issues. They've slowed it down a bit.
Hornibrook evades 1 man, but not a second. Taken down by Murchison.
Yeah, really, it's another corner blitz. Here it comes off of the slot here, and just look at Hornibrook's eye focus. He doesn't see it coming. He's got no idea. It's not picked up, and, you know, it ends up leading to the sack. You know, one of the problems with going fairly fast is you do need to, as a quarterback, identify the rotation of the secondary to be alert for a corner pressure.
He's been sacked 7 times.
Which is a big number. I know they run a lot of plays, and the offensive line is struggling, but that's a lot of hits on the quarterback.
Trying to get free, goes down again. It's Murchison all over him. And that's been the case all night long.
Yeah, and this is a bad look by the offensive line. You know, I showed a second ago those cut blocks. We're getting it again. You look at Bello, who again, you know, and Scott in there, you know, as they're trying to cut, you know, they basically just whiff. And so it's Holden and then Murchison, you know, that end up getting there for the sack. And I'm not really sure. I understand it in the quick game, but the quarterback has to understand, if that is going to be the technique in your quick game, you can't hold it. The ball needs to come out, because your offensive linemen are laying on their stomachs about a second after the snap.
On the punt. That will take a hop inside the 10. And be down right there. Weekday mornings on ACC Network. Packer and Durham exclusively talking ACC sports. From football to field hockey, Packer and Durham will cover all of it every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 a.m. here on ACCN and also on the ESPN app. But make a special stop. What is it, Wednesday at 8:30?
Wednesday, 9:30, Dave. 8:30 Central, though. I know you were thinking Central time. Get to preview this week the big Duke-Pitt game. Obviously, Duke, a great performance. Ran Virginia Tech basically, off the field.
Look at this. They had a 9% chance before Friday to win that game. And they were spectacular in that victory on the road. Looking for the quick hit intended for Mizzy, but he did not make the play. And incomplete with 4:22 to go in the third.
Somebody for NC State's got to step up and make a play. Somebody's got to make a play. And I know they're a young team, but they need some type of spark. We're looking for it from the quarterback, but it can come from anywhere.
2nd and 10 from the end zone. And complete to Thomas. Took a pretty nasty lick there. Nasruddin does that a lot. He will come up and say hello.
He's a big-time hitter. He flies around, covers a lot of space, and as that shallow cross is coming there, you're in zone coverage. As a quarterback, you need to be the eyes for your wide receivers. He's running the shallow cross, and Nasruddin comes up and pops him.
3rd and 7 at the 10-yard line. Crowd is up in Tallahassee. Hockman broken up. And incomplete, nearly picked as well. The defense continues to buckle down for the Seminoles.
They do, but Emezi needs to make this play for his quarterback. Emezi, I believe, is their best wide receiver. He's kind of made himself into a good player. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. He wins on the slant route, much like he won on first down. Just needs to make the play. Kind of help your team get out from being backed up in your own end.
It's on 4th and 7. That'll force the punt.
And that's 3 straight 3-and-outs for that NC State offense. Now you really wonder, okay, what else could spark that offense?
And a high wobbly punt. Matthews wants to run with it. Trying to get free. Ooh. Pretty good lick there by Peyton Wilson. He laid it on him.
He did lay it on him. I mean, Peyton Wilson, who we were told is going to be a great player. I mean, they were eager to say it, and saw the play on the sideline, Helton, and I mean, these are like clotheslines by Peyton Wilson. The redshirt freshman, 6'4", 235, big guy, but I mean, that's like some wrestling type moves, like off the top rope by Wilson.
Outstanding field position here from their own 49. FSU 1st and 10. And a handoff. Akers trying to negotiate his way across the 50. Cam Akers with a gain of 2. Averaging 125 rushing yards per game. Been a lighter load so far tonight. At least so far, with about 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Alex Hornibrook has played the entire game for FSU. The backup quarterback, he'll roll left. And complete. Helton makes a move. It was Trayshawn Harrison as he hauls that in for a 10-yard gain.
Just the speed is so evident, Dave, when you see Harrison catches it out in space. Just the ability to then make a guy miss and then ultimately end up getting the first down.
On a run to the right side. That was DJ Matthews, taken down by Moorhead.
Yeah, you look at Hornibrook. He basically, flips this to Matthews. That's a pass. We're going to call that a completion. But now they're running the option. That's DJ Matthews running the option with Cam Akers. And really, Griffin doesn't know what to do, how to play that. Certainly weren't preparing to face DJ Matthews in the option.
That one gun to the side, and a completion to Wilson. Wilson breaks a tackle. Turns that into a big gain. Finally stopped by Ingram, but not before a 19-yard rumble.
Again, it's Hornibrook moving to his left. That's when he's most comfortable. It moves to his left. Just make sure he stays in bounds here, which he does. But again, it's the speed and quickness of these Florida State wide receivers.
Wilson's had a big night, 5 receptions, 96 yards, big touchdown. It went for 39 yards in the first half. On a handoff, Akers busts out, gets inside the 10. That is some hard running, and a missed tackle by Moorhead too, as he gains 6.
You rarely see the first guy or just one guy get Cam Akers down. And we saw
NC State.
NC State will take a timeout just before the end of the third quarter, and FSU driving hard here. 2nd down and 4 coming.
You know, you think about Cam Akers. I mean, he basically does it all for this team. He carries the ball a lot. Just this is not blocked well. You know, there's one missed tackle. There's Thomas. There's another missed tackle. Runs through Engel's hit and falls forward. I mean, you know, that is a dream for an offensive play call. You just look at the violence, throwing Moorhead off him, running through Thomas. Engel, we've talked about, is a big-time hitter, and then you're still falling forward. We've seen Cam Akers tonight a couple times really be the reason that it's a positive game. Should be a tackle for loss, and we look up and it's a 4-yard game.
What did Willie Taggart tell us in the meetings yesterday? He said he's our bell cow. He is our go-to guy. He's on pace for 1,500 yards this season, which would be 3rd all-time at FSU in a single season. 2nd down and 4. With 1:05 to go in the third. Quarterback keeps it to the end zone, and touchdown. Caught by Terry. His 2nd touchdown reception of the night. This one from 9 yards to make it 23-6 Florida State.
It's a nice call by Kendall Briles. Really hard play action. We just saw Cam Akers have a nice run where he's breaking tackles. So hard play action to Cam Akers, and that gets everybody to flow up, and we'll pop in behind it.
59 seconds to go in the third. The extra point is perfect. 24-6 FSU.
You look at what happens. It's going to be a little run action, and because of that, you're going to see Miller and Engel just flow up. And what that does is it lets Terry go in behind off of the play action. It's good patience on the fake. You see everybody draw up. Then a good job of putting the ball up there. Probably would like to have it a little bit higher to take some of the mystery out of it. But there's the fake bluff block there by Terry. And then a good job of just going up and fighting for the football.
Tamarian Terry had the best game of his career last season against NC State. That was on the road. 142 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. And James Blackman unable to play tonight, but a big-time cheerleader for his teammates.
You love to see that. It's part of what being on a team is all about. And you know, I think you also have to like it for Alex Hornibrook if you just think about his career. You know, he played a bunch of games and won a bunch of games at Wisconsin, and comes here as a grad transfer and is not named the starter in a close battle coming out of training camp to get an opportunity in a ACC game and come out and throw 3 touchdown passes. Been fairly impressive.
Yeah, back-to-back weeks now. Hossein back to take the fair catch. Let's go down to Larisha.
Well, you guys already talked about how James Blackman has been a cheerleader on the sideline. Well, when we spoke to head coach Willie Taggart, he said that was one of the small wins that he noticed from their previous win over Louisville, how the team was starting to really play together and play for their brothers. He called it selflessness, and we've seen that all throughout the sidelines, everybody going up to each other, congratulating each other, encouraging each other to push through, to keep fighting, and to keep the momentum going from what they have already started here tonight.
Well, a lot of that is taking for FSU, and you can see more than subtle changes being made. You know, a lot of the silly penalties are going away, and more unselfishness certainly coming to the fore for Florida State. It's a very good sign for the Seminoles. Hockman now running for his life, head over the sideline, and incomplete. And tipped by Asante Samuel, is having a very strong night.
You know, Dave, you talk about the team coming together. Part of what will help that happen is when the quarterback that's playing will go between last week and this week, 41 for 55, throw 5 touchdowns and no interceptions. All of a sudden, guys can start to come together a little bit when that happens.
And feel a lot better about the season. Trying to get to 3-2 tonight. Hockman again, flushed out of there. Again on the move, but he'll complete that pass to Fisher and moves the chains. 36 seconds to go in the third. That went for 17. Maybe a late hit here.
Foul. Roughing the passer. Defense. Number 15-yard penalty out at the end of the run. First down.
It goes on Brendan Gant, the strong safety. Those are the kind of penalties that have hurt them in past games. Not so much tonight, but this one will.
Yeah, and you think about the struggles NC State has had, you know, tonight. The last thing you need to do is, after they have a, you know, a completion for a first down, is to tack another 15 onto it and really make them feel like they have life.
Now moves it all the way to the 43 of FSU. And on the pitch, and a big hit before Houston is taken down by Akeem Dent with a gain of 7. So coming up on the end of the third quarter, with Florida State on top of NC State 24-6 here tonight in Tallahassee. Very nice crowd to get the fourth quarter underway. That has not always been a friend of the Seminoles, even though they're on top 24-6. They've had the lead and they've trailed in every single fourth quarter so far this season. Wolfpack trying to make a move here. Houston bouncing outside. He'll spin. Tried to stay on his feet, but getting down close to the 15. As Wildeen stopping him. So that's been the story. Florida State blowing leads. They were up 21-0 last weekend. Came back, lost the lead, came back, and won the game.
And that's why you have to think there's got to be some doubt in their mind because of what they've gone through this season.
Houston on the run, stopped by Wilson. So 2nd down and 9. Looking for a stop here. The defense has been tremendous so far tonight for the Seminoles. And Levante Taylor, the right corner, back in there. He's had a superb game. Wolfpack has had no luck tonight in the red zone. Firing for the end zone and overthrown. Intended for Angeline, but there is a flag down on the play. Durden pleading his case.
Roughing the passer. Defense number 16. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Again, these are the penalties that have hurt them so much late in games this season.
Talking about 30 yards right here, you know, that we've seen recently. He's just late and he's up high. Late and up high on the quarterback. You're going to get it. I mean, he's wondering why it's there, but I mean, it's clearly a penalty. And I just don't know why it happens at this point in the game for this team, especially when I know they're being coached. We talked to Willie Taggart. He's talking to his team about not having those types of penalties. And here we go. We've seen 2 of them.
They didn't have them last week. Only 5 penalties total against Louisville. Major reason they won the game.
Sure is.
This will bring up 1st and goal. Hockman looking for the end zone. Here they come, and they take him down.
And he gets absolutely blasted. I mean, Robinson coming off the edge just is able to turn the corner, and to be honest with you, almost fortunate you don't get roughing there with his helmet, you know, up in the head and neck area of the quarterback.
FSU with their first sack.
Going on the field is under further review.
So they're going to review a possible fumble here. NC State's Jordan Houston recovered that.
This Florida State defense, when they're not hurting themselves, they're coming after the quarterback. Great pressure by Durden and Robinson, getting after Hockman.
The review, there is targeting on defense, number 11. By rule, he is disqualified. The foul is half the distance to the goal. First down.
That is Janarius Robinson, the junior defensive end. He is ejected from the game, leading with the crown of the helmet into the head or neck area with a launch.
And he had no idea that it was coming. He had no idea that that was being reviewed. But it's the right call. I mean, he's leading with the crown of his helmet, and he does it into the head and neck area of a defenseless player, of which a quarterback is considered that when he's in the pocket. He doesn't like it, but that is the rule.
But he missed the first half against Clemson, and he'll miss the rest of this one. Robinson ejected with 13:18 to go. Adonis Thomas comes in for him, number 22. Trying to get the crowd going. .13:18 to play. 24-6 FSU. First and goal. Emmanuel McGirt, an extra offensive lineman. And a big opportunity here for the Wolfpack to get right back in the game. Robinson hanging around, trying to get a peek on his way out. And now the crowd really trying to make some noise. And whistles at the time of the handoff.
The ruling on the field is under further review.
So we'll see what this is all about. Wonder if that's for the spot.
Well, I mean, the ball was loose, and so I think that maybe where they placed the ball and then the targeting foul. But you would think when you were reviewing targeting that you would address the entire situation at that point, rather than pulling everybody out, letting everybody know that Robinson has been disqualified for targeting. Let NC State line up at the line of scrimmage and then say, okay, now we're going to review it again.
Right, yeah. It's a waste of time. And the ball on the 4-yard line. And this one certainly stalling things for NC State. Yet another delay.
Yeah, listen, I think officiating is difficult. And I don't like to ever kind of be in a situation where we're just being critical of the officials. And I think they get the targeting call right. With that being said, we've seen a couple of stops, you know, stoppage of plays that, you know, I think have impacted the flow of the football game,
no
especially
doubt.
For offenses that want to move with tempo.
Yeah, they both do. After targeting, it's supposed to be half the distance of the goal line. And that's what they're trying to figure out on the spot here. So that is what they're looking at with 13:13 to go. Florida State 24, NC State 6. We are in the fourth quarter. Been a fascinating night as far as the quarterbacks are concerned.
Here's the deal.
Yep. You fumbled it, but Jordan Houston of NC State actually recovered the fumble.
He does, and he gets tackled at about what looked like to me about the 14, 15-yard line. But I would bet you that even if you talk to Dave Dorn, he'd say, I don't know, it was around the 15-ish, split the difference, cut it in half, and here we go, let's go play football.
No, it was the 14-yard line, and it's supposed to be marked at the 7-yard line. Right now spotted on the 4-yard line. So this is quite a conversation here where not a lot is going on. Well, it's a spot review, and the crowd's getting antsy.
Well, based on what we've seen, Dave, there's really no reason it should be on the 4-yard line. Okay? So if we say it was on the 14-yard line and it's half the distance.
The ball will be placed at the 3.5-yard line, first down. Please reset the game clock to 13:18. 13:18.
So we're actually going to move it forward a half a yard. I don't really understand that.
I don't understand that at all, because we saw Jordan Houston get tackled about the 14, 15-yard, probably forward progress at the 14-yard line.
Well, in any event, at the 3.5. And first and goal for the Wolfpack. Houston the back along with Bailey Hockman, quarterback who's played all but 3 series. And he's the number 2 man. He'll fire it, diving for the end zone. And as he is in. And a touchdown, Wolfpack. That goes from 3 yards out. So from 3 yards, and he's had a big night, 75 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
It's a little wide receiver outside there. Thomas does a good job of blocking Asante Samuel, and Fagan just can't get there fast enough. That's why that spot ended up being critical, to be honest with you. You can run a play like that from the 3-yard line and score a touchdown.
And they're going to go for the 2-point conversion.
And they should, to make it a 10-point game.
Hockman with a flag down, fires for the end zone. Emezi again, but a flag on the play.
Emezi doesn't get set. They have 2 men moving. So after the shift, Emezi just went right in motion. They're going to call him an illegal procedure.
Illegal shift, offense. 2 players in motion at the snap. 5-yard penalty, replay the point.
$13 minutes left in this one.
Yeah, and now I think because of the penalty, you're going to kick the extra point, and you're just going to go for 2, later if you need to go for 2 later if you get that opportunity.
So Christopher Dunn on for the point after to make it 24-13. Well, it's been a choppy offensive game for the Wolfpack, certainly, but they're right back in it. Plenty of time. Now the point after is good. 13 minutes to go, 24-13. FSU. Well, not the offensive slugfest many had anticipated, but it's tightened up. FSU's lead now cut to 24-13. As NC State has punched it in their first touchdown tonight here in the fourth quarter with 13 minutes to go.
Yeah, they're kind of clawing their way back into it. And you think about, Dave Huxtable, the defensive coordinator for NC State. You think about Tony Gibson. They want to be aggressive, finding a way to give that offense another opportunity. It's in Dave Dorn's DNA to be aggressive. Wouldn't be surprised to see something, whether it's a surprise onside or maybe even an opportunity come up with some pressures on the defensive side.
So Gill with a kickoff, and Helton lets it roll on out. We take a look at tonight's player spotlight, brought to you by Geico.
Yeah, and you just look at the last 2 weeks, the production that they've got from Alex Hornibrook, and he's not the same athlete as James Blackman. Probably doesn't throw the ball as well, but he has been efficient, and they've gotten big plays from their speedy wide receivers. Seems like the move by Willie Taggart is paying off.
He's played in some important games, certainly with Wisconsin. He was the MVP of the 2017 Orange Bowl. And we'll bring him out for 1st and 10 at the 25. James Blackman has been on the sideline all night with that knee sprain. Tweaked it again yesterday. They were leaning towards starting him. They said they were going to, in fact. If not for that, Akers dragged down. And a loss. Seuss got to him first. So a loss of 2, 2nd down and 12. Hornibrook is senior and playing like one. He'll keep it and fire and complete. Right there on the 1st down marker. Warren Thompson driven out by Chris Ingram. That picks up 14 and a 1st down.
I mean, just look at the route. He's going to whip it back outside. You just look at the separation he gets. The fact that you can kind of run in a little arrow route and then get to the perimeter there just is showing you kind of the difference in speed between the defensive backs for NC State and the wide receivers for Florida State.
Akers looking to get the edge. A flag is down as he is pushed out after a 1st down run, but a flag down.
Holding offense number 75. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
That would have been an 18-yard pickup, but it's coming back. Now Bello, the left tackle, with a hold. With 11:55 to go, NC State playing their first ACC game of the season here tonight. Wolfpack were, in fact, the first team to beat FSU on their home turf after the Noles joined the ACC in 1992. And they've beaten them the last 2 times. But the Noles with the upper hand tonight in Tallahassee. Akers again. Trying to break free. Val Martin wraps him up.
And that holding penalty is such a big penalty when you just think about trying to remain on schedule in some way. I mean, you got 2nd and 19, and you know, if NC State can just kind of keep them from gaining any more than 5 yards right here, you kind of create an opportunity to do what I was talking about, where you get aggressive on defense. You maybe bring a pressure to try to get a hit on the quarterback, a fumble, or confuse them, come up with an interception.
Seminoles actually ahead in time of possession tonight. They're last in the country in that category. He's coming into play tonight. Matthews with a catch. Trying to dart inside of the 50. DJ Matthews with a big hit. 22 yards.
You look at Matthews, who's just working the seam. They bring a slot pressure as he works in the middle of the field. You see Thomas is trying to get some depth. It's an excellent job of Hornibrook of layering the football, getting it up and down over the linebacker.
Well, Akers still churning ahead. Extra yards after the first man met him. Finally taken down by Peyton Wilson. 7-yard gain. Brings up 2nd and 3. And the Noles are on the move.
You would think that this is just Cam Akers' time. You know, they mentioned 25 touches. He's got 16 carries. You just see the way that he's finishing runs.
ACC's top rusher. Second down and 3. Hornibrook to throw. And lofts that one out of play. 3rd down and 3.
You know, you kind of changed the play at the line of scrimmage, but look to the left. DJ Matthews and Wilson, both those guys are blocking. I think they thought it was a run play. And Hornibrook is looking out there to throw them the football, and they're out there blocking the guys that are covering them.
5 out of 13 on third down conversions. And from the 44, Hornibrook stepping up. Now on the run. Taken down very close to the first down by Peyton Wilson.
You look at Hornibrook here, does a good job escaping. I'm not sure he doesn't get to that 40-yard line.
Akers straight ahead. He takes off. Cam Akers, touchdown. Well, you had said it 30 seconds ago that it was his time of the night, and he breaks free.
He's just such a good back. He's got good patience. He's got good vision. He has the breakaway speed. You just feel like he's got the ability to just lean on you and lean on you and lean on you. Fall forward, and then spring one.
And nobody takes him down on the first try. He scores from 41 yards. And the Seminoles to make it 31-13 against NC State.
Yeah, Cam Akers just pours it up in there. And you said it, Dave. Not one guy bringing him down. Runs through arm tackles. Able to walk into the end zone.
Cam Akers busting free, 41 yards for the touchdown to make it 31-13 FSU with 9:13 to play here tonight in Tallahassee. Now we'll see if the Wolfpack have a big time comeback left in them. Hussein will catch it.
Well, Bello, the right tackle, he comes over, or the left tackle, he comes over. They make create an unbalanced look. Miller, the corner, is out of position. He doesn't get lined up correctly. And so now your run fits are all messed up. As Bello gets up on the Seuss, frees it here. There's Miller right there. He's not in position to make the play on Cam Akers, and that's why he's able to split it, is you're not aligned properly. I mean, defense is all about alignment, then assignment. They don't get aligned properly, and Cam Akers makes them pay.
And looking up at that jumbotron as he rumbles into the end zone to get a good look at his rush. There's Thomas. Nice move to the left and shoved out of bounds. There, Thomas to pick up the first down, 14 yards. NC State needs a big strike. Hockman looking short over the middle and complete. That'll be caught by Devin Carter for 6.
And you wonder how much Hockman, how much work he's gotten with the starters in a 2-minute drive situation. You know, which, you know, you're in a hurry up now. It's essentially a 2-minute drive situation as you need multiple scores.
He'll throw again and throw short once again and complete. Cut by Angeline. And a flag on the play. .8:19 left.
Personal foul, targeting. Defense number 23. Ruling on the field of targeting is under further review.
That is on Nasruldeen, one of their top defenders, the free safety.
I'm going to have a hard time with this one because the truth of the matter is you've got a 6'7", 250-pound tight end who catches the football, is running down the field, who then it looks like he gives himself up and slides feet first like a quarterback. I mean, if you're a defender, I don't know why you would think a man as large as Kerry Angeline is going to slide feet first and give himself up. I mean, if you're Nasruldeen, you're expecting to come make the tackle against a big tight end. Not that he's going to give himself up, and now all of a sudden you're making contact up high. And
Florida State's already had one man ejected Janarius Robinson has been tossed out for targeting several minutes ago. The targeting review process, is there an indicator? Attack with forcible conduct via the launch, thrust from the crouch, the lowering of the head, leading with the helmet, forearm, or shoulder. And if yes, then is the attack with the crown of the helmet? Is the player defenseless? Yes. Is the attack at the head or the neck area? And if yes, it's a targeting foul. They're still looking. So if they lose another player, that's 2 in the second half to targeting.
And their next game is Clemson, and we're in the second half. And so that's certainly not what Florida State needs in that matchup. I think they're going to uphold it, and I would just, that would be my guess from what I've seen based on the rule. But I would also say this: I think it's got to, we got to treat it differently when you're talking about a 6'7", 250-pound tight end.
He is, of course, the ball carrier there as well.
He is, but he kind of, you know, and so as you're sliding feet first, you're giving yourself up. And so then at that point, you're defenseless.
After further review, there is no targeting on the play. The result of the play is a first down.
So Nasruddin will continue to play.
I think that's the right decision. I think if it was a quarterback with that bang-bang hit, I think they would have upheld it.
Yep.
And so I think the officials did the right thing there.
So just over 8 minutes left. Hockman needs some magic. Downfield and incomplete. Looking for Thayer Thomas, one of his top receivers, but incomplete. Now head coach Dave Dorn in his 7th year has the Wolfpack with a 3-1 record at their ACC opener tonight.
You just look at those numbers from Bailey Hockman. I mean, just 17 to 31. You're under 200 yards passing. It hasn't provided the spark.
Certainly not yet. And he's going to go down, and down in a hurry. Amari Gaynor all over his back for the sack. And a loss of 11.
And really, you know, Gaynor wins right away. Witt doesn't do a good job here at left tackle, so he's beat quickly. With that being said, if you play on time, you knew you had press coverage, you knew you had single high safety. He has a seam to his right that if he throws early enough, it's probably a walk-in touchdown.
7 tackles and a sack for Gaynor. Hockman. Incomplete again. On a low throw. 31 to 13 FSU. And 4th down and 21.
And if you're Florida State in this situation, no pass interference, it's 4th and forever. No pass interference and no late hits on the quarterback. It's something that's plagued you before in situations similar to this.
Hockman off the fake and incomplete. Right through his receiver Hines. And so it goes back over to Florida State.
It's just a drop by Hines. It's a perfect throw. Hits him in the chest on 4th and forever, and Hines probably is able to stay on his feet and maybe run into the end zone.
Well, that was the big play they were looking for. They've been looking for that all night.
Looking for it all night. You know, not a great night for Emezi. Had a couple of drops. Hines there with a drop. And, you know, it's situations like this, you know, when you have a team, whether it's a guy that's inexperienced, which, you know, Hines would be for this NC State team, or they're young, which some of their other players are. You know, how do you respond in an environment like this? And Doesn't seem like a whole lot of guys are passing the test.
Yeah, you learn a whole lot about your team in a place like this. On a little touch pass here. It's Harrison. They're going to swarm on him. Let's get downstairs to Larisha.
Guys, when we were talking to some of the coaches, there was a bit of concern about their players, you know, dealing with being tired, a little fatigue because of the tempo that FSU runs. Well, I'm looking on the sideline. None of these guys seem to be tired at all. Actually, they're ready, they're pumped, and they are eager to finish this game.
And it's fun to be up 31-13.
That helps, you know, when you're not giving away a lead. It probably helps you play with a little more energy as well.
Well, they've overcome some of those penalties tonight, able to cut them back last week. Some of them have still stung, but FSU has a healthy lead. And a rush by Leyburn. He's tackled by Griffin. As we approach the 6-minute mark, gain of 1. If Florida State can hang on and win, they would improve to 3-2. Heading into the bye week. That should be a great feeling for the Seminoles to have cleaned a few things up, which they desperately needed to do.
And part of what they're cleaning up, Dave, is this: adjusting your tempo. You know, 6 minutes left in the game, no need to hurry. Last time they were up there, they snapped the ball inside 5 seconds. They're going to do it again here, basically, you know, in a 4-minute offense situation.
Incomplete. Trying to get that one into DJ Matthews. Could not make the catch. And so they will punt here on 4th and 12.
Listen, it's not ideal, you know, to end up having to punt the football here after, you know, the turnover on downs. With that being said, different from what we saw in that game at Virginia, where they were, you know, hair on fire pace at that point. At least they're bleeding the play clock out to run a little time off the clock.
Martin, a very high punt. And we'll take a bounce into the end zone. The flag is down with 5.5 to go. We are in the 4th quarter. NC State with only 1 loss so far.
Legal formation offense. 5 players in the backfield at the snap. Penalties decline.
Virginia Tech, 100 rushing yards, 3 total touchdowns.
I think there's elements of that Duke team remind you about Virginia.
Offense number 79, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
They play good defense, and then they have a quarterback that's just hard to defend because he's a true, you know, dual threat player. Quentin Harris, good performance on the road versus Virginia Tech. Excited to see him next week.
And what an effort by Jalen Hurts as well. 415 passing yards. He ran for 70, 4 total touchdowns today. About 5.5 minutes to go. Hockman, and the pass complete. There's also a flag on the play, caught by Carter, but a flag down.
I think Samuels just gets there a hair too early.
Pass interference, defense. The ball he plays in spot of the foul, 1st down.
So NC State with a 1st down. With 5:24 on the clock here in Tallahassee. Bailey Hockman, the backup. 1st and 10. Fire to the middle and incomplete. Trying to hit there. Thomas again, but not this time.
And Florida State not just sitting back, you know, playing zone coverage, playing soft. They bring a blitz there, bring the corner, and I think they're still coming after Bailey Hockman and trying to cause some confusion.
Second and 10 on the 30. Hockman nearly intercepted, batted right back to the receiver, caught by Hines, almost intercepted. by Cyrus Fagan, but Hines winds up with a catch.
I've never seen this before. He's throwing a shallow cross, goes through the hands of Hines, then off of the defender that's going to pick the tip, and then caught again by the guy that dropped it originally.
Wow. Off Fagan and then right back to Hines.
You get a drop and a catch all in the. How do we score that?
You might. We're checking on it. Take another look. But 4.5 to go. Blackman flushed out to his left, looking downfield, and a spectacular effort there, but incomplete as Thomas is upended. A flag down again.
Legal player downfield. Offense number 66. Penalties declined. 4th down.
Josh fed Jackson, that player.
It's a big hit there. Thomas has taken a couple big hits tonight. Probably none bigger than that one there.
Yep, Akeem Dent. Ouch. Upending him. So 4th and 10 here for NC State. Looking to throw again, and he hits his tight end, Angeline. And will pick up a 1st down. That is one big target.
It's a big target, and it's an outstanding job by Trent Penix in at running back in pass protection, and Angeline able to use that big body to shield the defender.
False start. Offense number 50. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Instant GIF time. Now the play of the night so far.
That is an instant GIF time. I'm also pleased to see that you've already graduated to GIF, not GIF.
From GIF.
In 1 week that you've done that.
Took about a decade.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
A lot of hard work went into that.
That's one of those ones for the quarterback. You start running to make the tackle, and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, good. Way to go.
Yeah. Well done. Exactly as we drew it up. Hockman with another flag. Now a lot of them still on his feet. He stayed in bounds. Now he'll fire down another flag. Boy, too many of those here in the last 5 or 10 minutes. With 3:38 showing.
There are multiple fouls during the play. Holding. Offense number 50. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 93. This penalty is offset. 1st down.
Personal foul on Amari Gaynor. And as said, they offset. But just too many of them here down the stretch.
There was a lot going on there. I mean, we can be honest. There was a lot going on. I mean, guys down the field, quarterback running the wrong way. I mean, we got receivers lined up 6 yards behind the line. I mean,
Hockman passing over the center, right at the 50-yard line. Angeline again.
I mean, you just take a look at the officials here. He's going to pick the flag up and throw it. Your little pass to your buddy here. Here's your flag. You need it. Whoop. Listen, been a lot of flags tonight.
A lot of them, especially in the second half.
I was a little tired from throwing. The accuracy's impacted.
Blackman wriggling free and finds a receiver. That is Powell on the sideline. Pressured by Nasruddin, who does that a lot. He can really get after a quarterback.
You see that 20 penalties tonight, Dave. You see it's kind of like throwing 100 pitches for a pitcher. At that point, you start to lose a little velocity, some accuracy.
A lot of stuff. 20 accepted penalties. Incomplete. And more pressure on the quarterback by Josh Brown. I'll tell you what, Bailey Hockman has taken a beating tonight. And he's going to hobble out. And Devin Leary, the freshman, will become the 3rd quarterback to be used in this one by the Wolfpack.
And if you think about the way Matt McKay finished the Ball State game, started this game, obviously wasn't what Dave Doran wanted to see. And so we see, you know, Bailey Hockman, he doesn't spark this offense.
Where he throws incomplete for first down to Powell.
You almost wonder, Dave, if this ends up being an option for them going forward. Highly talented recruit. You see Hockman here earlier in that drive, you know, gets hit and gets, you know, thrown to the ground. Looked like it was something in his lower body bothering him, but
Leary got it off quick. Jackson with the hit on Penix.
Now, did you think about Leary? I mean, you have a state champion quarterback and a highly recruited guy, and you're not happy with how your first two quarterbacks have played. Not to say that they're unhappy with Hockman, but it certainly didn't create the spark they thought it would, and didn't get a ton of help from his receivers. But you got a bye week coming up, trying to find something to get this offense going.
And of course, Hockman forced out because of an injury. Coming up after the game, all ACC will have scores, highlights, breakdowns, and post-game interviews from all of today's games. Nobody covers the ACC like we do. That's coming up next here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. And a very solid night for FSU here in Tallahassee. The crowd came out to see him tonight. That's got to make head coach Willie Taggart very happy, because on Monday he talked about that quite a bit. You know, come on out, call some friends, bring your whole family. Obviously, the attendance is thinned out here in the fourth quarter, but they had a nice crowd tonight and a loud one.
I agree with you, Dave. They showed up, they made noise, and they had, you know, somewhat of an impact on the game.
No more flags.
False start. Offense number 79, 5-yard penalty. Second down.
A very sloppy end to this one.
It has been. You think about Florida State, though. You're down 24-21 in the fourth quarter to Louisville. Alex Hornibrook is able to bring you back. They could have easily, if he's not able to do that, we could have been looking at a 1-3 team. Obviously, you know, they come into this game, you know, 2-2, get an ACC win here, and, you know, a much different feel around the program.
Catch by Carter. And a 14-yard gain. FSU seeking their first consecutive ACC win since 2016 after beating Louisville last week. Got a big lead, lost it, had to come from behind to win that game. Tipped away in the end zone and incomplete. Broken up by Ronaldo Green, intended for Carter. Under 2 minutes to go.
Leary just doesn't put enough, you know, air on this one to Carter. Give him a chance to go fight for it. And, you know, Dave, you mentioned those two ACC wins, you know, the back-to-back wins for Florida State. And, you know, the first time we talked to Willie Taggart, he really talked about the confidence of his football team needing to be better. And you would think you string together a couple wins in the conference, defense plays as well as it's played tonight, that maybe that's what this team needed, to have that happen and build some confidence.
Well, there is a calmness with Hornibrook, is there not? I mean, that's inherent in his style of play. Different style of play with James Blackman, who's a very, very good and creative quarterback, and a guy that they really love to play around. But Hornibrook has really gotten a foothold here these last couple of games. I don't think there's any question about that. Pass complete. He's going to break three. Fisher lost it. And it's recovered by FSU. The fumble picked up by the Noles. Recovered by Emmett Rice. Well, receiver tried to continue on and make more out of the play and lost the football.
Yeah, and it's a great hustle play by Amari Gaynor. You see him run that down from behind, about ready to be a touchdown, and it's pursuit to the football. Fagan misses the tackle, but later in this football game, Gaynor, who's played a ton of snaps in place of the injured Lars Woodby, just look where it comes from. I mean, he's rushing the quarterback, turns, retraces his steps, runs that play down from behind. That's awesome effort.
You know, the defensive side for Florida State in the opening weeks was hotly criticized, but they've played a terrific game tonight against NC State, who came in averaging about 34 points a game. One of the top offenses in the ACC. So Florida State, impressive in many ways tonight. They were leaning towards starting James Blackman. That was the plan until he tweaked that knee yesterday. Willie Taggart going back to Alex Hornibrook, and he had another fine game.
And you wonder if anything has changed now. I mean, they told us that James Blackman was going to start. And, you know, it seems like he didn't because of the injury. But now has something changed? And from where I sit, it seems like it should, but not Willie Taggart.
Hornibrook will take the knee. FSU with 3 long touchdowns. Terry 44 yards, Wilson 39, and Akers with that 41-yard rush into the end zone. And Willie Taggart and FSU to celebrate a victory tonight over Dave Doran and the NC State Wolfpack. It'll go in as a final of 31-13 here in Tallahassee.
That's a big win for Willie Taggart, a really big win, and I think that he's kind of positioned himself to have some tough decisions, you know, ahead of him with the quarterback situation, but